Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Crypto Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all having a wonderful Sunday morning and you've had a great week. Right, let's get into this week's analysis. There's some nice trades setting up. Some pairs are setting up nicely that we're going to look at. They haven't played out as yet, which is a good thing. That means you can still track them and wait for them to play out as per your strategy. So we're going to have a look at a couple of them. Right, so the contacts, my contacts, you will find them at in the description of all my videos. If you go to the description of all my videos, you just click on the Show More tab. You will find my contact details. That is my email address, Telegram or WhatsApp number. The Telegram channel. So just note the Telegram channel is not for sending out chart analysis or technical analysis. It's simply for me to send out the link for the webinars, right? And you'll also find my Trading View link there. Even though I don't post much there, I will start posting in the next couple of days. All right, so you will see also the detail about the next course. The next course will be on the 17th to the 27th of June 2019. We've not had a course in the last month or so. That's because we wanted to focus on the students that are currently already in the group. All right, so for more details on the course, you can use any of the contacts that are on the description there. Whether it's an email or Telegram or WhatsApp number, whichever one you prefer. So on that, you will find detailed information about the course timing, the course content, as well as information about being in the trading room. We use the Slack group for our trading room. I think I've shown this one a couple of times. We have got a pair for each. We've got a channel for each and every pair, mostly of all the pairs that we discussed during the webinars here. All right, so we also have this one here where I post. We've got daily webinars, Mondays to Thursday, during London, between London and New York time. We've got a daily webinar where we go into the details of this analysis. All right, so here we're only doing the I just give you the overview, high-level overview of the pairs. But when you do the daily webinars, we go into detail, looking at entry points and what we need to look out for when you need to take the trade, and what constitute a confirmed trade. When is a trade ready to be taken? So that's where you'll find all the recordings of all those daily webinars. We put them here under daily webinars, and then we also have the one that most people like a lot is the trade setups. So this is where I put in the trades that are almost setting up. So these two are forecasts, so they're not confirmed as yet. We will look at this in when we start the webinar just now. All right, so we've got these ones that have confirmed that we've played out last week. I think I showed this one last week. This was a pound pairs that have played out, that have pushed higher. So when a trade is confirmed, that's why you will see it with this risk to reward tool here. So that shows you the entry point, the stop loss, and the take profit area. Okay, so this is the difference between a setup and a forecast. So this was also a clear one. This was a pound Audi that has played out and came on and hit stop loss, not stop loss, rather take profit. Okay, so that is what has played out. So now this is the difference between this and these two. So you'll see these ones, there is no confirmation here. We're still forecasting, but when it is set and it is ready to be taken, the members know, because they've got a specific strategy. We've got a specific strategy that we use for entries, which is what most people struggle with. Okay, so we've got a strategy that we use for that. And for the rest is all the pairs, as I've indicated. You'll find different members discussing different pairs in these channels. So that makes it very clean and neat. And everybody who wants a specific chart will just simply go to that specific channel. That's just part of what we do in the Slack group. So for more detailed information, you'll find it if you send an email. Even if you're not interested in joining us now, even if you're you still just wanna see how these webinars play out, you can just send an information. So you can have the information in the meantime. Right, so the course is pre-recorded, so the moment you join, you get a full recorded course on videos. So on the day that you register for the course, you get all the video recordings of the previous course. The live course is simply for interaction, so you can ask questions during the webinar. That's how that works. All right. Hello, Harry. Welcome to the webinar. Right, let's get started now with this week's analysis. As usually, we're going to start with Bitcoin. I think last week I showed a very detailed analysis of Bitcoin and what it looks like. So if you want that, you please watch last week's video as well. I'm not going to go into the detail and the high level analysis like I did last week. So please watch last week's video. Let me just check what last week's video is. The date here was 6 to 10 May. Please watch that for a detailed Bitcoin analysis. It is very accurate and shows you exactly how we look at the charts. All right, so let's get back to this week where we're going to look at this now. Let's update. So Bitcoin has played out very nicely now. So last week I showed you this, I think a week before. Let's start with the daily. So the week before, this is what we looked at. We looked at this to be an expanding flat and that it was going to push higher. Okay. And then last week, this made this expanding flat. It was making this expanding flat and we were around here. It was already pushing higher and we were looking at this corrective structure here. Okay. So I'll show you what happened here with the analysis. Let me show you the whole sequence of events of how we looked at this, so we can see exactly how we trade practically. Okay, so this is practical. So this is what I was looking for initially in the beginning of the year. So before we talk about the beginning of the year, let's look at this here. I'm gonna go a little bit quick here. So we've got one here and we've got 1, 2 here. So this is what I was expecting around the beginning of April. Around the beginning of April, I was expecting the last move here to the downside. So this last move was going to be this one. Let me show it in yellow. I want to show you how practical this is. So this is the move that I was expecting. All right, I was expecting the last move as close as possible to zero before we get the bigger move, which is this one. This is the bigger move that we've been expecting. Okay. We knew that from there, I wanted this, and then we're going to get this big move to the upside. We've been talking about this big move from when this was correcting, right? But what we didn't get right was this piece here to the downside. Everybody remembers how we've been analyzing this like this, looking for that one more down, even though we knew that was going to go up, but we still wanted to get that one more down, okay? As a result of that, that means we missed this piece going up. We missed this piece that started here because from here, I was still expecting that we were going to get this one. So this is the one that I wanted to get, but it did not happen. Instead, we got this continuation pattern here and it pushed higher. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. This should be practical. It's not theory. Okay, so let's have a look at this. If you remember beginning of the year, so we had this pulsing move in the beginning of the year. We got these moves to the downside. Every time it corrected, we got these moves. You can see that it was doing exactly the same thing. The fractals that were happening here, we got this. Okay, so when this was pushing higher like this, I thought that this was going to be a continuation pattern for that one more down that I was talking about. Okay, that did not happen. So that one more down that we were expecting, we even got the pulsing move here and it was correcting here, and we thought that it was gonna drop for one. So that meant, what does that mean? It means that I missed this whole move up to this level. Okay, but when you look at that, you can see that the structure has changed. That is why last week we then looked at, for the last 2 weeks, we then looked at this continuation pattern for upside. So we've missed these points from around this area up to this level because we expected one more down, but we knew that the direction was going to be upside. Now, you may have missed that piece to the downside, but you did not miss this piece. And that is highly probable. Why is this highly probable? Because you already got the reversal. It's already shown you the reversal and you're already getting the corrective structure. So that is why I always say wait for the reversal confirmation before you take the trade. We missed this piece, but we got the piece from here. And the piece that you're getting is highly probable now. Because this one, there was a chance that this one can give us one more. But here you've got a very high probable piece, points, and you've got a very good trade. So actually we took this one right here. So it doesn't matter if you lose some trades. Here you actually didn't even lose because you did not confirm as you wanted it to. So this is practical and you need to have a specific strategy for it. If you've got a specific strategy, you will not take trades that don't confirm to your strategy. Okay, so now we're going to update what we expect for Bitcoin to do here now. Let me go to the 4 hour here. So I even went to the 1 hour last week to show you this here. Let's go to the 1 hour, show you what we showed. You can watch last week's webinar. So last week's webinar, I showed you the structure, 1, 2, 3, and that this was going to push higher. You got an entry point, you got an entry point. You kept getting entry points there. You could have taken it at any point there. Now it has moved so far up. Okay, I think I see there's something on the chat box. Yes, the recording is on. Thank you. The recording is on. Right, so that is how you trade practically. Right, so let's look at the 4 hour and let's go back to the daily and see what we're expecting Bitcoin to play out as now going forward. Right, so as I said last week, you need to get the trade from down at the bottom because this may be the one that goes. And I've been saying from the beginning of the year that it's almost time to hold the cryptocurrencies for the long term. So you see this one here, this could be this one, but there's still a chance that this one will come back down before it actually goes. But even if it doesn't, then you already have this and you are holding on to that. You should protect your profits from there. So what do we expect? Let me not take this off. I'm going to draw that again just to show what could happen. So you've got the 3-wave move down. You've got a pullback. You've got this 3-wave move. 1, 2, 3 there. Now you still have the yellow that could possibly play out to the upside. This is the current move that is going up. So that move could be anything. It can be a running flat or it can be an expanding flat that breaks the top, comes back for one, and then still goes. So you need to take cognizance of that fact that there is still a possible structure like that. So even if it is not like that, that can actually be only up to here or anywhere around this area that will make a running flat and can still reverse and give us this one more down. So you need to expect that it is a second alternative. Okay, so expect either of this. Okay, for now you are comfortable with this. You are in the profits. You're not going to lose the trade now. So let's see how this plays out. There isn't even a sign of reversal at this stage. This is still going to push higher. Let's go look in the 1 hour. 1 hour. Let's look in the 1 hour. So even if you do get a pullback here, even if you do get this one to do this, it will simply be a pullback. I see there's a slight divergence there. That is not a sign of reversal. It can just be a pullback. That means it will still push higher. But it's a little bit risky to take it now after it has moved so much. You need to wait for a deeper corrective structure from there. Okay. Thanks, Yusin. Right, so you need to wait for a deeper corrective structure from there. Right. You can't just take it like that. It's tricky to take it like this. So if you just take a small corrective structure like this, a bigger one could be coming like this that will take you out. So for now, we're still expecting continuation to the upside, at least up to the level that I've shown you, which could be an expanding flat like that. Are we going to get this? We don't have to get this. If we don't, then this means this is the structure, and we're going to have to update and see what structure played out there. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's look at Litecoin now. Litecoin also, we looked at this structure last week. The three-wave pullback here, 1, 2, 3. It has now pushed up higher. Last week I showed that this one will need to retest the top here. It has pushed up higher. It is very close to the top. Will it go to the top, come for one down and make a regular flat there? Whichever way it plays out. If it doesn't and it starts correcting around those levels, that means continuation to the upside. We're still going to push higher. Okay, that is Litecoin, simple as that. On the daily, if we look on the 4-hour, that could be the structure. So watch this one at this level. It's risky to buy this one here because from here, it can come for one before it goes. So just wait for it to do this first. Correct here around those levels or above this level. And then Ethereum, similar structure as Bitcoin. If you go to the daily, you'll see that we forecasted the reversal here for Ethereum around this level. We're expecting the same thing with Ethereum when it was doing this. Thought it was going to do this continuation pattern for one more down like that. Okay, but like Bitcoin, we did not get that reversal. It is now making this move to the upside. Let's look at it in the 4-hour and see what we looked at here. Okay, so this one, we looked at this 3-wave pullback. It already started with this move to the upside. So this one is still pushing higher. It will follow what Bitcoin is doing for upside. So it will keep making corrective structures and pushing higher. Okay. So let's see. This one will still push a little bit higher, a bit of a corrective structure, and a bit of a push still to the upside. No signs of reversal as yet. This divergence has not confirmed as yet if it's gonna be. Okay, because this still can move up to the upside. So there isn't confirmation of divergence there either. Ripple. Now Ripple is starting to look very interesting. I've been talking about Ripple coming to retest this low here. Okay, let's have a look here. Wanted Ripple to come and retest this low here for a push higher. Okay. So now, what I said last week about Ripple was that if you get an entry point, on Ripple, okay, if you get an entry point on Ripple, so I was just reading something on the chat box there. I am on auto, you see. So this is the 4-hour. So on Ripple, we've been looking for this one to come and retest this low here. Okay, that doesn't look like that is the right low. Let's just look here. Yeah, that is not the correct low. That's right. So the low that we've been looking at on Ripple is this one. This is the low that I've been looking for on Ripple. Okay, so as what I said last week was that when you get an entry point, this is when we had this pullback here. If you get an entry point on Ripple, you must take it because what we are expecting is this pulsing move. Okay, for now, what you got is you got this entry point. You got a push higher and a correction here. So you should have taken Ripple here last week. So just be careful because that could still just be a 3-wave pullback that will still come back and touch this level here. Okay, but for now, if you are in the trade, you just move it to break even from the at this level, just in case if it comes down with this one. But otherwise, there's likelihood that this could be the one that goes from there. Why do we want this one to go from there? So let's go to the daily again. So just for clarity, the low that we're looking at here on Ripple, it does not have to come to that low, guys. It's just that for analysis, we know that if it does, then that is confirmation. Okay, it can do this. So this is what we're looking at on Ripple. Let's look at the overall structure. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at this whole structure. Okay, why are we looking at this whole structure? Because we've got one. Let me do it with the straight line. We've got 1, 2, and a 3. Okay, and if that is the case, we'll look for another 1, possible 2, and a 3 as close as possible to 0 before we go. Either that or we are ready to go from here. If we're ready to go from here, we'll see this by starting to correct above here and then just keeps going with this move. Similar move as this one that ended in 2018. Okay, so the one that we're expecting, this one, so we've got two alternatives here. So that's why I said, if it sets up here, you need to take it. Okay, it's playing out nicely now. Let's see what happens. When you get here, move it. You should have already moved it to break even at this level. Okay, you should move it to break even at that level. Here, you should be protecting your profits and just wait for it to correct if that is the move that you're going to get. So why are we looking at that structure like that? It's not just about, we need to look at the sequence as well. So the sequence is this one here. Let's show the sequence in the labeling here. You've got 3 wave move down, 1, 2, 3 W, 1, 2, 3 X, 1, 2, 3 Y. That's why we're expecting this one. Then we'll expect whether this is going to be the same pulsing move as this one, as the one that started here. That's how we're looking at now. This is the lower degree, W, X, Y, W, X, Y, W, X, Y. That's the forecast. See how clear this is. That is what we're looking at on Ripple. So let's see. It has already made a passing move to the upside. You should have got an entry point from there. So let's see how that plays out. Looking good for now. Let's go 4 hour again. We already looked at the 4 hour, so you already have that move. You already had this entry point here. It's already pushed up higher. It's still correcting here, looking like it's still gonna push higher. So let it play out. Okay, that is Ripple. Now let's look at the indices. S&P 500. Let's look at the indices. Last week I spoke about the indices, all the indices starting to pull back. So we've got the pullback. Is this all the pullback that we require? Okay, let's show the whole structure here. Let's push auto again. You see, I keep forgetting. All right. We have an expanding flat that has played out as follows. We had a push up higher that has played out as follows. Last week, I said this has now reached the all-time highs that we focused when this was coming down. Now we're at the all-time highs. We got to the all-time highs last week. So we're expecting a pullback. So that is the pullback. Is that all the pullback? It looks like a simple pulsing move. So this pullback can make a deeper corrective structure. It can even be something like this that does this and push higher, or even now we're forecasting now, or even another 3 wave move to the upside, come back down for 1 and then push higher. So we're expecting a bit of a corrective structure here, maybe a deeper one before we push higher. It does not have to be like this one. So we need to wait for every corrective structure to play out. Whichever corrective structure it plays out, we have to forecast it and wait for the setup. I'm going to look now on the 1 hour to see how this current one looks. Now, if you look at this one on the 1 hour, it has made a nice 3 wave move. So those who don't have the eye for corrections, you won't be able to see what corrective structure here there is here because of all these gaps. But because we've got the eye for waves and how the wave moves, I can show you exactly what this structure looks like. Now, this is what I look at now first. What you look at here, go and look at that. You will see that there's a 3 wave move. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you go and look here, you'll see there's a 3 wave move. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You would not have seen that if you don't know how wave analysis works. Now, you'll see that we've got 1, 2, 3 W, 1, 2, 3 X, 1, 2, 3 Y. Okay, this is the eye that you need. This is the This is the training that you need to be able to identify these structures. It's not just gaps opening up here. There is a sequence. Whether it's a spike, whether it's a gap, it's got a sequence. So now what is happening here is that we have got a 1 in the higher degree, a 2, and a 3. That is the structure in the higher degree, the WXY. Now, after the WXY move, we've got a pulsing move. And that is the pulsing move. That pulsing move now needs to be confirmed with a correction to see if it is over and we're going to push higher. A bit of an education here, free education. So wait for a corrective structure and see if we're going to keep pushing higher here with just a 3-wave pullback. All right, so that is your 3-wave pullback, and that is what you expect the S&P 500 to do. So as I said, there's an alternative here. Let's clean it up here. So you've got that 3-wave move down. You could get another 3-wave move up and a down again, something like this one, not with that color. Let's get the right degree, blue. Up, down, up, down, before we go. This does not mean it will happen. We're just doing this so that we can expect it. So if we expect it, we should be able to manage it. All right. But for now, we're going to be looking to take this trade and take it up, taking cognizance of the fact that there is a possibility for this to come down. So we're doing this so that if we see those signs of reversal there, we can get out of the trade and wait for it to set up again around this level for another entry. So it's important to know all the alternatives. That is the S&P 500. The Dow is similar, same structure, similar structure on the Dow. That is your corrective structure. Now you have here a pulsing move similar to what you have in the S&P 500. Okay, you've got that move here in the middle. You've got the 3-wave move here, same as what you have in the S&P 500. You've got another 3-wave move down here. All of this giving you a WXY structure pullback. Okay, you've got a pulsing move to the upside. Now correction. Wait to see if you're going to get this. And we're on the 1 hour here, so it should not take long for this to set up, and then look for this to at least come and retest this top here. If it's not going to come for 1, it's going to make a correction and push higher. Okay, that is the Dow. The Nasdaq, similar. Similar structure on the Nasdaq. So on the Nasdaq, you've got a pulsing move now. You're simply waiting for this to give you a corrective structure and a push higher. Let's see here if we don't have divergence. We actually have divergence here on the Nasdaq as it was making lower lows. You can see that the RSI is starting to make lower highs. So if you get here out of this channel, a corrective structure, you're going out and you're going to push higher. Okay, so this is setting up nicely. This is a nice corrective structure on both S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow. You've got these nice looking corrective structures on the 1 hour. So when they set up, you need to take those trades. That is the Dow, S&P, and the Nasdaq. Now let's look at the Nikkei. Nikkei, slightly different structure. What we expected with the Nikkei was, this is what we expected last week. It did not play out exactly as we expected. We had this one, we're looking at this as to be a 1, a 2, and a 3 like this. Okay, but because the other indices were setting up as corrective structures, you can see here we had 1, 2, 3. We had 1, 2, 3 pullback, 1, 2, 3. I expected that this was the first part, like this one here, and this was going to make this move here. This is the pullback that I expected. I expected that we're going to get one more up. It did not play out like that. That means that forecast did not play out. So let's see what this is looking like now. So there's a likelihood that we are going to start a bigger corrective structure from there. Okay, so this could even be a 1, 2, 3 down, a 1, 2, 3 up, and a pulsing move to the downside, which could be a running flat, which means it can turn up at any time and make a running flat, or it can make an expanding flat, a 335, a textbook 335 corrective structure. This can be even an expanding flat, something like this, and push higher. So let's see how this one plays out. The others are looking interesting. They're very clear, but this one still needs to play out because we cannot really see if this is part of this or if this is the single pullback on its own. So let's give it more time to play out. We'll watch this one. That is the Nikkei, and we already looked at the Dow. And the next one will be UK 100. Let's look at the UK 100. So the UK 100 has made a 5-wave move. This is the first part of the corrective structure. So this is the 5-wave move to the upside. This is the first part of the corrective structure. We still need to expect this one. Whether it's going to come and retest the top or it's just going to make a zigzag, it doesn't matter. We'll see when this one is complete. For now, we're focusing that we're expecting a 3-wave corrective structure. Then we will know that it is complete. So it can be a 3-wave corrective structure like this, making a regular flat before it pushes higher. So either way, we're expecting a 3-wave move here after this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrective structure. Okay. So we've got a pulsing move down here. Let's see what you're going to get. And if we look on the daily here, let's look in the daily. So we had this pullback in 3 waves here, expanding flat and a push higher in 5 waves. So let's see if we're not going to get another corrective structure here, or a 3-way or a zigzag, whichever one plays out, because we're expecting a push higher. Okay, that is a UK 100. The DAX, all of them, you can see the pullbacks that we mentioned last week are happening. So DAX has got a slightly different structure in that you've got a running flat in the middle there. We'll look at this in the 4 hours so you can see how clear that is. So you've got a move up, you've got a 1, 2, 3 waves in there, and then you've got another move to the upside. Now what you want is a corrective structure. So that's why we're expecting corrective structures on all the indices now. They're all doing the same thing, they always do. Right, so on the 4 hour, so on the 4 hour, so you can see the lower degrees. The reason why we go between time frames is so that we can have different views, clearer views. I mean, you can have a clearer view. I mean, the lower time frame is just to zoom in so you can see closer into the lower degrees. Now let's do this in the different color. There's that running flat that I showed there. And then you've got this last move here. Now, if you look at the lower degree of all of these swings, all of these waves, you'll see that you've got a 3-wave move up. 1, 2, 3, I already indicated. 1, 2, 3. That's a W, X, Y structure. Now you're expecting another pullback here. So which means that in the higher degree, you're going to have a bigger W, X, Y. So you're looking for the X here. Okay? You're looking for the X and then push higher. Okay? This is your running flat in the middle for clarity. This is the structure. Okay? 3 waves there, 3 waves there, 3 waves there. There is no 5-wave move there. Okay? There isn't even a diagonal. The diagonal does not confirm there. Okay? Although this could have been something like this, it could have been something like this. Okay? Let's have a look here. It could have been something like this. Even so, you still expect a pullback like this after the diagonal. Okay? But it does not look like a good diagonal, this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe, but it doesn't look good. All right. That is the DAX 30. Right, it looks like that's all the indices. Now we look lastly on the Nifty. Nifty, we've been expecting this corrective structure for a while now. We've been expecting that this pulls back and gives us a corrective structure. Now we've got a first move to the downside and looks like it's coming down in 5 waves. So this will be a 1, 2, possibly 4, 5. So that makes that a single move that could do this and that. Okay, what will that mean if it does that? Let's show in the higher degree there. This is what I've been expecting for a while. during this webinar, this is what we analyzed. We analyzed that we're going to have 1, we're going to have 2, we're going to have 3. Okay, it looked like it was still going to push higher. When it did this, it pushed just slightly higher. Last week, we had this pullback. And now this pullback looks something like this. It doesn't look complete, it can still do that. Now, what do we expect? It could be something like this. And then we get this to be a W representing this one. A pullback in X. Okay, guys, these pullbacks are exaggerated and they are not up to scale. So we don't look at these levels. We're just showing you what the structure could do. You can just look at the relationship between the degrees for now. Okay. As for levels and being accurate to scale, that we use the Fibonacci levels. For now, I'm not using any Fibonacci levels, but please take note that that is what we do in the group. We use specific levels for this. That's when you'll notice that we don't use support and resistance levels. We use only Fibonacci levels and structural levels. Right. So this is your 3-wave move here, running flat and pushed up higher. We forecasted all of this correction here to up to this level. We have been expecting a pullback from here. It has now come. It was not going to push any higher than that. Now this is what we're expecting. We've got that. We're going to have this pullback. As I said again, we're just waiting for a pullback for a 3-wave structure. This is the first move. It can even do a structure like that. So don't only expect a zigzag. This is just for illustration purposes. It can even be a structure like this before it pushes higher. That is the Nifty. Wait for these corrective structures are very risky because it can just do this and then starts correcting. Okay, so if you're looking to sell here, you need to get this corrective structure here. At least a deeper one, then you will know that it's going to come back for one before it goes. Okay, and you also need to look at divergence on this single move to the downside. Right, so that's all the indices and the cryptocurrencies. Now let's look at the mergers. Let's look at Euro US dollar. We'll start with the daily. Let's look at the daily on Euro US dollar. Right, so Euro US dollar, before we talk about the sequence and the structure here, let's just look at what is happening here in terms of the overall structure. There seems to be very strong divergence here, and I said that the move to the upside will definitely come on the euro. You've got from this moment here, as this was coming down, this has been making lower lows and lower lows, but the RSI has been making higher lows, so lower highs. Not lower highs, higher lows. Let me get that right. It's making a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. Okay, here is lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. You can see that there's clear divergence here. So here is just a matter of time before we break up here, at least up to the 50 to 61% of this whole move. Okay, so that means around this level here, around the 150 area. We are currently at the 1200. So we need to get a clear setup that takes us at least 300 pips to the upside, if not more. Okay, so now let's look at the sequence. Okay, excuse the bit of it to clutter. So here we're looking at the last move here as a diagonal. We're still on the daily time frame here. I'm looking at the last piece as a 1, 2, 3. This push to the upside could be the wave 4. We're going to expect the last move to the downside. If we get this move to the downside, while the RSI is making one more low, one more higher low, that will be an interesting move to the upside. It may be a very pulsing move to the upside because you can see that it has been contained here for a while, since last year. Okay, so from last year, you can see that this structure has been forming from last year. It has been corrective. You could not have been making money here. Okay, right, so let's have a look and see what we get here. So we're looking for a structure to take us up. Okay, we're looking for a buy setup there. Now let's look at the 4-hour. At this stage, there isn't really a good buy setup. So we still have that wave 4 playing out, building up there. We've got a pulsing move. We've got a pulsing move. This looks like a 3-wave move that could still do this. So we can have this one building a wave 4 like that, and then we go for that 5 before we get this move. This is the one that we're looking at. So this will complete a wave 5, so the wave 4, then the wave 5, and then a push higher. Just be careful here now, because if you're wrong with the count, this could be the one that goes. So if you get a clear buy setup, you take it because it could go. Then it goes, and then you can adjust the structure. Okay, so that's what we're expecting on the euro. There isn't a clear structure for now. There is a possibility that this can do this and do that, and that just becomes a 3-wave structure, completing the last wave 4, and then we come back down for 5 before we go. So that's what you're looking at on the euro. The DXY is just the opposite. Would also do that, making this a wave 4, 5, and then a move lower. Okay, let's show that ending diagonal on the DXY as well. So we are busy with this structure. Let's take this off here. Let me adjust this. This is what you're looking at on the DXY. You're looking for this diagonal. You can see the diagonal there. So if you do the count here, it's 1, it's 2, current one is 3, looking for this one to make a 4 and a 5. And you can actually trade the last wave 5 because that will give you a very nice structure here. You'll have this looking like a flag here. It will break to the upside. Just take a couple of pips before you let it go down here. But you will see the divergence playing out there. Okay. Let's do this here. Let's get the numbers there just to adjust it quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Different degree. Let's make that green. Those who are still using MT4 for this, you need to use TradingView. MT4 is very slow when it comes to labelings. See how quick this is to adjust the structures. Is very quick. It doesn't even take a minute to just put in the numbers. With other platforms, you have to put individual numbers. This one has got everything pre-populated. So that's what you're looking at on the DXY. It's the dollar index. Now, US dollar CAD. So now looking at the US dollar CAD, I was doing a little bit of analysis on it. There's a number of ways that this can play out. Let's go daily here on US dollar CAD. First of all, we need to understand when we look at these structures, what are we looking at in the higher degree? Most of you have been looking at me forecasting this structure from the end of 2017. And those that have been watching the videos would have watched this from 2016, us forecasting this whole corrective structure and this big 1,300 pips move that we got. Not just that, we got this 600 pips, this 600 pips that made 1,200, and this 1,300 pips. Okay, if you watch videos from around 2016, 2017, you will see how we forecasted this 1,300 pips. Even on, I think, my Facebook profile, if you go to 2017, you will see that I've posted these moves before they happen. I don't have time to show it now. I'll show it again in the next week. So the reason why we're talking about this is because we've got a similar structure here, and we need to understand the whole structure. So we have got a pulsing move here. We have got this corrective structure and a pulsing move. What are we looking at here now? This is a corrective structure which we have been forecasting as well. What does this mean in terms of the overall sequence? What is the relationship between this and that? So I'll look at that as a 3-wave move to the downside, and I'll call that W, and I'll look at this whole thing as a corrective structure X. Now, how far will this X go? For now, we don't know yes yet, but we're forecasting here to see what's going to happen here. I'm going to get to this level and see if we still have continuation to the upside. So there's a possibility you can still get another 1, 2, 3 down here. That makes a big WXY structure. And that structure is correcting the whole move here. So this is what you guys don't see with this analysis. You only see this front end here that I do on Sundays. Okay, so let's look at what is happening here now. So if we look closely to this here now, we've had this passing move to the downside. Let's do that in yellow. We've had this passing move to the downside. We've had this three-wave move up, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show it in single wave. We've got this 1, 2, 3 pullback. Now, what we were expecting was that we're going to have another three-wave move to the upside like this. Now, if we get this one to push slightly higher like that, that will mean a completion of this three-wave move, and then we're going to get this big move, at least up to this level. And you can see this is that will be a very nice move. If we get to around the 137 and come down to all the way to 130, that's over 700 pips. Let's look in the lower time frame. So if that plays out like that, we'll expect this to do that and give us one more. And if we get one more up, then that is an even bigger move all the way down. But we'll take it a step at a time. For now, we'll take it like that. Okay, will it come down from current levels, or will we get that one more up? Let's have a look in the 4-hour. So the 4-hour looks like this. You've got a passing move down. You've got a corrective structure in 3 waves. It's coming down like this. I'm expecting that we get a slight push to the downside, so we can get that move to the upside, the last one, before we get the bigger one that will go all the way to around 130. Okay, so let's see if we're going to get this one to push further up for one more. Okay, so a couple of moves that we're still expecting. We still need to watch this one. I don't believe this is complete. Let's have a look here, see if I've put in the fib levels. Okay, I've not put on fib levels on this one. But if this makes a structure like this, breaks the low here, there is an guaranteed chance that this will make this move back to the blue box and a move to the downside. We are currently correcting at this 61 area here. Then we'll look for this to retest the top here. Okay, if it retests the top, that's even better. It will not break above here. This is a corrective structure. So if you get a push higher, you put in sell setups here. Even if it goes above here, it will come down. That's how clear this one is. So that's US dollar CAD, US dollar chief. US dollar chief is making what looks like a zigzag. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Could push one more up. You can see that we only simply had one pulsing move to the upside. This is the first time we have a decent correction from here, so that can push for one more up. So let's keep an eye on this, wait for a correct confirmation. That's US dollar chief, pound US dollar. Now pound US dollar and the rest of the pound pairs, we are going to discuss the rest of the pound pairs. We have been looking at these corrective structures for the last couple of weeks. 3-wave moves, okay? They've been making these 3-wave moves. Let's use a different color there. 1, 2, 3. Now they made these three-wave pulsing moves to the upside. I'm going to use a different color. This is a 1, 2, 3. Now we need to see what we're going to get here now, because we've got another a seemingly pulsing move here. What we're expecting here is corrective structures and a retest of the low here. What will that do? If we get that, that means you may have another 3-wave move, making this a WXY structure and a push for one more up on the pound pairs. This is the forecast. For now, look for a setup here to come down here at this level. Okay, let's look on the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, that is what this looks like. A 1, a 2, and a 3-wave move. Could be a 3-wave pullback. Now you get this one coming down here. If you want to take this, you wait for corrective structure in the 1 hour. Let it test here. Could be it can keep doing this regular flats and coming down, or just simply there's 3-wave moves here like that. Okay, so that's what the pound pairs look like. Let's go back to the daily. So on the daily, On the daily, there's another alternative here, especially on this one, which is convincing for downside. This looks like a move to the upside. There are two things here. Let me see if I've put it on here. Okay, I didn't put it on. But there's what looks like an AB-based pattern here. AB-based pattern is one of the controversial patterns that Elliott has discovered. Okay, so there are some that don't believe that the AB-based pattern exists. All right, so let's have a look at the two alternatives here. We'll talk a bit about the AB-based pattern. So you've got this one. I'm looking at this one as a running flat. This is what we looked at in our daily webinars. One, running flat, and then we're expecting downside here. Now, this is our blue box. You can mark the blue box, check in your charts. This is the where we're looking to get a reversal for one more up if the running flat is playing out like that. Okay, so if this is an AB based pattern, I'm going to show that one on pound JPY. If this is an AB based pattern, that means this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. Then you've got an A, you've got an B. It's an AB based pattern, and then this structure starts with a 3-wave move to the downside, and then we're going to push higher after this correction. Okay, but for now we're looking at the first alternative. We're not looking at the AB based pattern because this looks like a clear running flat, pulsing move, running flat, and a pulsing move. But we won't rule out. So if this starts making this corrective structure here, we will understand why that is happening. That would mean that it is playing out the AB based pattern. Okay, now let's have a look at the rest of the pound pairs. For now, you just want to get corrective structures to get to the blue box. So this is where we expect the reversal on the pound pairs, right? So that is pound US dollar. Looking at Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar, I have talked about this. I don't know if it was during the daily webinar or during this webinar. Actually, we have looked at the sequence last week. Yes, we have spoken about this one during the webinars here, that we want this to come down here in the V pattern. Okay, the V pattern is just what it looks like. It's not named after me, and it's not a new pattern, as I've always said. It is an Elliott wave pattern, but we just call it the V pattern for ease of description. All right, so this is a 3-wave move down. This is a 3-wave move up. It's another 3-wave move down. So we want this to come down with a V pattern into the blue box for a push higher. Now, where's that blue box? Okay. Usually this is what we show only the members in the group, but because it's already set up there, you can look at this. But we don't just buy in the blue box, you need to get a confirmation from the blue box. So that's a 4-hour. So if you get a setup here, if you get a reversal from the blue box, you owe me a Coke. Right, so that is the V pattern. Let's see if it's gonna keep giving us one more downs into the blue box before we go. So that's what we're looking at there. So we want it to come down into the blue box like that. So we look for this one to come down here. Okay, there's a clear structure for this. This is an A move. This could actually be a ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave C before we push higher. Okay, so but we will disqualify. No, we can't disqualify it. It will still be valid. It will still be valid because that's C. Because we've got WXY here, WXY, and then you can call this one A, B, C. A, not A, that is W because it's 3 waves, X, Y, A, B, and a C. Your C ending with A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ending diagonal. So that will be valid. Okay, it's important to follow the rules and the guidelines. Okay, and you cannot just brush this off read this off on Google without understanding it properly. It's like any degree or any course that you've ever studied for. You need to do this properly and take it seriously because there's a lot of money at stake. So this is what we are looking at now. I've just put on a lot of numbers here, which is something that I don't like doing. I like to do this 1, 2, 3. I like to identify the structures. makes it a lot easier than just all these numbers. I can put in a whole lot of numbers and it will look very complicated, and the more complicated it is, some people think that that is when you know what you're doing. When it's complicated, there's a chance of making errors. There's a high probability of making errors. So here you will have WXY, ABC here, no, WXY, WXY, okay, here, same, A, B, C. So you see, I can make this complicated. It does not have to be. I can put in a lot of numbers. I can go to the 1 hour time frame. And when you look at this, you look at one big mess that you have to figure out. But what I do here, in just an instant, when you look at the structure, you see what I'm looking at. And that is what we try to do here, to try and make it simple, not complicated. We don't want to confuse you with the detail. All right, look for this and a push higher. That's Audi US dollar, looking very clear. New Zealand. Let's look at New Zealand again, daily. So the New Zealand is at a critical level here now because we're looking at this structure. Okay, we're looking for this one to do this. 1, 2, 3. This is our blue box now. We want to see if this is going to start reversing now. We already have a pulsing move now. Let's see if this is going to be the one that reverses from there. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour and show. You can see that it has already moved into the blue box. You see the reversal there. So this blue box was not drawn before. I mean, it was not drawn after this move. It was before. So that's why you see that this has come into the blue box, has made a pulsing move. Now we've got a corrective structure here. It's making this one here. What we want here is a corrective structure for the upside. Okay, let's see. So even if it does this 1, 2, one more down into the blue box, that is still fine. That will still be fine. We'll look at this here. That will still be fine, and then we'll look for then this to make a corrective structure and push higher. Now let's look here and see if we've got divergence. Got clear divergence. Here you made a lower low, here you've made a lower high. Okay, so there's clear divergence there you could see. So let's see if we're gonna get this one here, correction, and then we go. So as I said, one up here like this, it's even better because you already have the RSI moving up. So if this is coming down and this is going up, this is just giving you an opportunity to buy lower. Okay, let's keep an eye on that one, keep track on it. That is the US dollar pairs. And lastly on that, US dollar ZAR. Right, so we've had the elections on the 8th, this past Wednesday, the national elections in South Africa. So we expected some volatility in this pair. Okay, so let's see what we're looking at here now on US dollars. We've got a move here. It's a pulsing move. We've got another pulsing move. So when that happens, I'm expecting that at some point here, we need to get a corrective structure, pull back, maybe even retest this part here, come back up here, move down, and make this structure. So that will be an A, B, C corrective structure after this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that will be that move. And then we expect a move to the upside. Okay, so this is just a focus for now. You've got a clear pulsing move to the downside. Wait for a corrective structure to take one more down. Okay, let's see if we're going to come back for one to retest the top here, because this looks like a complex B correction. You're going to get something like this, something like that, and then you get something like this again. Okay, if you do get something like that, that means you're going to have this one here, making this a bigger corrective structure. So this is why you can focus the whole, you can focus 5 years ahead with the Elliott Wave theory, just looking at how the structures interlink with each other. But you don't want to complicate it like that. You can understand the higher time focus and what you're looking at. That will give you a view of what is to happen in the immediate term. And that's what we're looking at here. So you're taking this here, but you know why you are taking just this next move. And this is what I show you here, even though I won't necessarily show you the whole focus and the historical analysis. All right, so that is US dollar ZAR. Look for corrective structures in the lower degree for our, okay, look for corrective structure in the lower degree. So I was even looking at this possibility that this was going to do this and push higher. That has already been invalidated. Now you look for this to come and retest the low here. That's US dollar ZAR and concludes all the US dollar pairs. Now let's look at the yen pairs. Now the yen pairs, if you look at pound yen, looking interesting. This one, you can go and study it if you are looking to understand the AB base pattern. This is what I have here. So what I have here, unfortunately, I've got a lot of clutter here. Let me remove some of this, clean it up so you can see here. I need to remove some of this. Okay, so I'm gonna clean it up. All right, now you have here on pound yen on the 4 hour, you've got a 3-wave move up. One, let me do this with a straight line. You've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, what you have after that, you've got a 1, 2 AB base pattern, and that AB base pattern, it needs to break the previous high. Now from there you get 1, 2, 3. So what you have essentially done there is to get a move up, which is in yellow, and a move down, the AB base pattern. Then you're looking for this one to push higher. Okay, now if you look at that, you've got a simple ABC up, ABC down. Okay, and then now you'll be expecting this move, possibly a 3-wave move up to 156 that I've been speaking about for months. Now, how do you trade that one? You can see that this is a corrective structure. You want this to break out of the corrective structure. But if you wait for it to only break out of the corrective structure, you're gonna be late and you're gonna miss all of this. So you want to get a move into the blue box. We'll show the blue box level just now. Move into the blue box. As soon as you get a pulsing move and a correction, you take that trade and take it all the way. Let's look at this. Now I have projected the blue box. Blue box is something that we use to project high probable reversal areas. Now we're getting this one as a pullback here, very close to the blue box, and you'll see that it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Okay, so that's why it is an ABC structure. ABC structure. Okay, internally here you can use a lower degree WX, ABC structure as well, because it's 5, 3, 5 as well. Okay, and that's what you're gonna have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correction. 1, 2, 3, we're on the 4 now, 5, and then we'll expect a push to the upside. That will mean that this structure, 1, 2, 3, has completed. Okay, so now we also need to look at between 3 and 5. Between 3 and 5, when this makes a low here, you're supposed to have divergence. So this one is supposed to be making a move to the upside. It shouldn't come back down here. So you should get that divergence. That is a rule on a 5-wave structure. You need to have divergence between 3 and 5. Okay? Between 3 and 5, you need to have divergence. Okay? If you don't know, now you know. And then we'll look for that one to be resetting there when we start pushing higher. Okay, so that is what you're looking at. Very clear. The levels are those. Expect the reversal in that area. That is pound yen. Right, US dollar yen is already in the blue box. We've been focusing for this one to come down here into this area. I even said that I will put in a buy order on this. It has triggered, but the stop loss is quite a bit far, so it is quite a small risk there that I'm taking. And if this reverses and we make a corrective structure, I'm gonna be adding the full 2% on this one. Okay, for now, I'm taking it aggressively based on the structure. Based on this structure. This is the blue box. We'll switch off here. So this is in the blue box. Let's see what's happening there. There is a likelihood for this to do this in the blue box. One down and then it goes. But if it's making the one down with divergence, that's even better because you're going to get it lower. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. If it keeps going like that, then it will invalidate this structure and then we'll look at something else. For now, that is what we're looking at. We need to get confirmation for this one to play out. And as it is now, it does not look very good because this looks like a three-wave move. And if it's a three-wave move, we can get one more down. Okay, but let's see if that one more down is not going to make it push higher. Okay, Euro Yen. Let's have a look. Euro Yen also in the blue box. Got a number of these playing out in the blue box. We've got the reversal here. Is this going to correct and push higher with the euro? Let's see how this plays out. Okay, we've got here 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. Okay, now after that, we'll expect this to push higher. Okay, to go and make a red Y. Where's the red Y? It's right at the top there, somewhere around here. Structure like this. Move, correction, and a move. That's what we're expecting. Right, so expect a reversal there. And that reversal should be confirmed by a corrective structure like this. Okay, I always say that look at both sides. Look at both sides, because this can do this and it will frustrate you. Trading is practical, as I showed in the beginning with the Bitcoin. It can give you one more down before it goes, but that one more down coming with divergence is even better. You already have divergence. This is making lower lows here. This is starting to make a higher low here. Okay, so the likelihood that this is starting to reverse. But if it doesn't, it makes this three-wave move, pull back for one. This comes make a higher low, lower high. A lower high here, that's even better because you're going to get it lower. Okay, so you look at, that's the confirmation that you want. Chief, so do not rush. If you already have divergence there on the 4 hour as well, it's making divergence, making lower lows. Okay, we've made this push, pulsing move. It looks like a three-wave move. Wait for this corrective structure to take it up. Let's go daily. See what we're looking at here. Okay, so Chief also has made the three-wave move up. Okay, this one looks like it's going to make 1, 2, 3. Could be a 4 here, 5. Let's see what we get here. And if it's a 5, we're going to get a bigger corrective structure. We're going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whether it's a diagonal and then a push higher. So which means we're still going to be sideways for a while if we're looking at the forecast on this. That is Chief JPY, Audi. Audi JPY has just invalidated this structure. I was looking at this to be an expanding flat. It looks to be invalidated now, and it even looks like this one is going to correct here for one more down. Okay, so let's see. We need to look and see what corrective structure we're going to get from here. That means that this is the orthodox high here. So let's see what we're going to get here. You need to get a deeper corrective structure to start understanding the structure that is going to form there. New Zealand, the same. This three-wave structure invalidated. That's what we expected. And we know the invalidation areas is here now. It has broken the 1,61. When it breaks below the 1,61, we know that that structure is not going to play out. It's important to understand the characteristics of the structure, the rules, the guidelines. Okay, so this one has broken here, and we can see now that that is not going to play out the expanding flat. So let's see what else it's going to make. For now, we're going to expect a deeper correction. And if we're going to take it down, we're going to take it down after the deeper corrective structure. That's New Zealand JPY, CAD. CAD is still missing the blue box. And this is where the blue box is on CAD. We still want it to push lower. Okay, so this can still do this into the blue box and go, making this 1, 2, 3 structure before we go up. So CAD can do that. So just to recap here on pound yen, we also have the similar situation as CAD. We want this to push down to the blue box. That's CAD. We want it to push down into the blue box. Okay. Let's remove all of this. This is all that's already played out. All right, that's what you're going to be looking at. W, X, and then a Y on CAD. That's all on the yen pairs. Let's look at silver and gold. Silver, we looked at the diagonals on both silver and gold, and these are the diagonals that we looked at. You can do this with the trending view tools. Okay, that's A, B, C. We're expecting this to play out with diagonals. Let's look at it in the 4-hour. Let's clean it up. Clean it up. Okay, so that's the channel for the whole correction. So what we're looking at here is a 1, 2, 3. The current move looks to be a 4, and then we look for this one to come and make a down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So the 4 is this one here, and a 5 to the downside. Looks like this is a corrective structure. Let's switch off here. This is a corrective structure for one more down. Okay, initially we were counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So this one is not actually a 5. We wanted it to do this and push up higher, but we're looking at this corrective structure here. So it looks like silver may give us one more down here, which could be a wave 5. Let's see how that one is going to play out. Okay, we're going to expect this one to break lower here before we get that move to the upside. Then that will make an A, B, and a C, which has got an ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. This 4 is actually in red, and a 5. Let's switch off here. Let's just clean it up there, and that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay, that's silver. So anticipate possibility for this one to make one more down to complete the diagonal. Similar with gold. Let's look at gold. The same structure. Okay, so we were looking at a diagonal as well, but the way it's playing out now, it may not be a diagonal because we've got a 3-wave move down here. It looks like this one wants to make a structure like this. One more down. Okay, if that is the case, the diagonal may not play out. But for now, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Let me show you the initial setup here. The initial setup was this 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But you don't get a truncation on an ending diagonal. Okay, you don't get truncation on an ending diagonal for us to call this a wave 5. So the structure here is changing slightly. So we have this as a 3-wave move. We've got this one as a corrective structure. For now, we'll look for this one to give one more down. Then we'll update the structure. Okay, it could be even doing something like this. A move here, correction, and a move, and giving us this structure. Okay, that's just a focus. But for now, we can see that there's a corrective structure here. Let's focus on this and see if we can get this drop. Okay, let's see what is on the chat box. There's 2 comments. Okay, sorry. I'll look at, oh yeah, no, I looked at gold, gold 2 twice. Let's have a look there. Thanks, Lotfi. Silver, yes, silver is slightly different. Thank you. So silver is slightly different. So what I did was gold. So now let's look at silver. Silver has got 1, it's got 2, it's got 3, it's got 4, it's got 5. So the structure on silver looks complete with the diagonal like that. Okay, the silver structure looks complete. Now we've got it after the completion of the ending diagonal in wave C. Why are we calling it that? That's because it's an A, it's a B. It's similar to that of gold, but the gold structure, the gold ending diagonal, as you've seen, is not exactly playing out as silver. because it has got what looks like a truncated wave 5, and you don't have truncation in wave 5 on an ending diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when silver has completed a C orthodox low here. We are looking at this corrective structure here, and we look for a push higher. Okay, so if that is not the case, because we can see that there's a corrective structure here, but that corrective structure can only be confirmed if it makes a move to the downside and then we push higher, then we're going to have this one here. So we've got a pulse and a correction here, and then we'll expect this one to go up. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky. If I go back to gold, it looks like it wants to make one more down. Okay, otherwise we've got a pulsing move here. We've got a 1, 2, 3 here. We've got a pulsing move down here. That will be this, and this will correlate with silver. Okay, if that is the case, then gold will not have made a diagonal. That's fine. They can be correlated without making the same structures. All right, so that's silver and gold. So let's look at that and check the correlation between the two and the structures. All right, now we can look at the pound pairs. Let's look at the pound pairs. Pound pairs. So we got the big moves to the upside. Chief went up there. You've got a move down, you've got a correction, you're getting this move to the downside. So with the pound pairs, look for corrections on pound chief, take it down here. Don't just go and buy this, because this correction can be deep and you don't know how far this is going to go. Okay, so wait for it to correct if you're going to take it down. All right, so that will make an A, B, C structure. If that is the case, you're still going to push higher. Okay, you'll see that all the pound pairs are similar in structure, or in terms of the bias. So you've got here also, we had those big moves to the upside, which we forecasted up. Now you're coming down with this one. This is corrective structures. So wait for this corrective structure. So this is not a corrective structure yet, guys. A corrective structure is in the opposite direction of the impulse. So for now, you still have a motive wave up to this point. You want a corrective structure to do that. Then you'll take it down. For now, you don't have anything. Okay, that's pound New Zealand there. If I switch on here, you'll see that pound New Zealand has hit the target that we were looking at. And that is the trade that I showed when we started the webinar. So you've got a pulsing move that's showing you a reversal. You've got this. This can even be that. Only then you can look to take it down. Pound Audi. Same. You've got a reversal. You've got a pulsing move down. You've got a pulsing move up. Is this a corrective structure? Let's see. If you get this, you're taking it down. But do not just sell it because you're expecting downside. You sell it after the confirmation of this corrective structure. Okay. We also have what we call a 1, 2, 3 strategy, where we confirm with the indicators as well. So the first one will be the structure, and then we've got 2 indicators that tells us whether we are ready to take the trade or not. That's pound Audi, pound CAD, also pulsing move in the opposite direction. Pulsing move in the opposite direction, you'll be looking for this one to come down to this level. Okay, you decide which one you look at as a trade. This one is not so good because it's very close to this level here. But you can look at it on the 1 hour, you may get a nice entry point. That is pound CAD, and that concludes all the pound pairs. Let's look at the euro pairs. Okay, the euros, euro pound. If you look at euro pound, because the pound pairs are looking downside, this one is going to make one more up. Okay, so we've got what looks like 1, 2, 3. Let's do this properly on the daily. Let's make it clear. Okay, now if you look on the daily, we have been waiting for this one to come down into the blue box. This blue box was projected when this was still way up there. Okay, we still wanted this one to come down here. We got this corrective structure. This is the arrow, and then we're looking for this one to come down here. Now, what we have here is a pulsing move up and a corrective structure in 3 waves. Now, what we're looking for is this up, down. Okay, so you can see this is exactly the opposite of what we're looking at on the pound pairs. So the pound pairs, we're looking for one more down before we get the move to the upside. Okay, so for now here, look for corrections to take us up before we come down. Euro Audi. Euro Audi, you're going to move to the downside. You've got a correction. We're going to move to the downside. So that makes a ABC structure. Is that all the correction? This one has started the move here. Can it pull back and make this one before we get another three-way move down? Okay, let's see what we're going to get here. For now, we cannot really see it clearly because this could also be a simple three-way move down, and this is starting to get a this is correcting the whole move here. Let's switch off here, and this could be correcting the whole move here in 1 2 3 1 2 3, where this is going to be like this and this is going to be like that. So that's why I'm saying here you need to wait for confirmation here, either by this correcting here. If this starts correcting here, then we know that this is a three-way move down. Okay, if this starts making a impulsive move here, then we know that this is a 1 and this is a correction. Okay, and then we're going to get this one. Okay, so we need to wait and see what happens at this level. That's Euro Audi, Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, we also at a critical area. We are right here. We are right here. So let's see. What are we going to get here? It looks like we've got a slight impulse here. If you look at it on the 4-hour, doesn't look small. It is quite a significant impulsive move and a pullback correction. Let's see if we're going to get this dropping to the downside. Okay, that's Euro New Zealand, Euro CAD. Euro CAD, you also have three-way move down. We've got a three-way move up. Has broken that, can make an expanding flat or a running flat. It's correcting here at current levels. It can come and do this and push higher. So for now, look for a clear corrective structure at current levels. Take it down to complete that structure. It's Euro CAD, Euro Chief. Let's look at Euro Chief daily. Now, Euro Chief we discussed last week. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. This is a three-wave move structure in the middle there. 1 2 3. Now, what are we expecting here? After the three-wave move like that, we expect downside like that. Okay, but this is correcting. Let's see, there's a chart, something on the chat box. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome, guys. Aljaz is just saying a great meeting. You're welcome, Aljaz. Mucha saying you're a legend. No, I just do it simply. Mucha, thank you. Thank you very much. We just make it simple. All right, Harry, let's get going. Let's get going. So now let's have a look here. This could be a three-wave pullback and a push higher, which means that will invalidate this as a continuation pattern. So like I said in the beginning, you need to trade this practically. You need to manage the trades that you that have got more than one alternative. Okay, so that's how we look at this. Okay, so that's Euro Chief. Look for this correction. Let's look at it in the 4-hour. Let's look at the 4-hour here. Now the 4-hour is looking like this. We got a pulsing move. Look at this corrective structure here. 1 2 3. Could we then get this one to push down here? Where we're gonna project the blue box. You'll see it next week, and then we'll look for this one to the upside. Okay, let's see if we're gonna get that reversing around that area. That's Euro Chief. Right, now we can look at, we're done with all the euros. We can look at the cross pairs, but before we do the cross pairs, let's do oil. Let's look at oil now. Oil finally has made that three-wave pullback, and it looks like it's going to make a double correction. Now you've got a 1 2 3 there. It's an ABC structure. You can see those are the impulses. Now you see here you've got a move up, you've got a move down here, you've got a correction. This can come down here, make a move, and get another one like that. This is now a forecast. Okay, So now we've got this corrective structure that can come down to this level. Take it one wave at a time. Take it up to this level, take it up, and then see what you get as a three-wave structure. This can be a WXY structure, pullback, and a push higher. Like I said, these pullbacks and these structures are exaggerated. They are not up to scale. Okay, so this is for the purposes of this webinar. It's just for you to see the structure. You can relate that with the degrees. Okay, so that is what you're expecting on oil, a bit of a correction, a bit of a move down, move up, another three-wave move to the downside. So expect this to still come down in a corrective structure, and you'll see that this is a little bit slow. Okay, this is still a little bit slow. Let's see how this one plays out. That's oil. You need to watch this corrective structure. Then we look at some of the cross pairs. Let's look at Audi New Zealand first. Audi New Zealand daily. Okay, now Audi New Zealand, we looked at this structure to do this. Now, is that move to the upside complete? It does not look very good, because if you look at the structure, it is not in the Elliott Wave theory. It is neither a regular flat nor a running or expanding. So there's a possibility that this structure makes 1, 2, 3, pushes a little bit higher, then it becomes a zigzag. Now you've got a reversal here, move up. Now this can make a move here and make this continuation pattern to the upside like that. So it could be a 5, 3, 5, and then before it comes down for one more to parity and then push higher. For now, you're coming down with this. Let's go for our. We're coming down with this move. This is a correction. This is likely to retest the level here. Okay. Keep an eye on it. Audi CAD. The waves up, the waves down. Maybe a push higher or down. Or if it corrects from here, it will keep going from here. So you need to understand these pullbacks in three waves. So you've got this three-wave pullback here. Is that all the correction that's required, or is it going to make a regular flat? That's what you need to look at and manage. Okay? That is Audi CAD, Audi Chief, Audi Chief. Retested the move there, so look for it to come down to that level to start looking for any corrective structure if you're going to look at this to be doing that. Okay, so let's get into this level first. Not much of a trade there. You're welcome, guys. Then we have got CAD Chief. CAD Chief looks like it's about to invalidate this level. Let's see if we're going to get a push higher from here. Okay. It's not invalidated as yet. It is still a corrective structure. So let's see if we're going to get a bit of a push higher to go retest the top again. I'm just going high level here, guys. CAD Chief, Audi Chief. Did we look at New Zealand Chief? The New Zealand Chief has also invalidated this structure that we were looking at here. It did not play out. So that means there's no relationship between this. Now, what you have here is a move, correction, and a move down. So expect this to push down slightly. Okay, what else have we missed? I think we are out of time now. I think we've done all the pairs. New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD is making this structure. Yes, New Zealand CAD. 1, 2, 3. After making the 5-wave move, it has made a 5-wave move up here. It started with a 5-wave move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see we've spoken about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so many times. Now it's making the A and the B and the C in a regular flat structure. So we've got a pulsing move here. Let's see if this is going to play out. If it starts getting a corrective structure here, it's going to push higher. Okay. And that's all for this week, guys. Good luck trading. Please don't forget to hit this like and the subscribe button. If you like the videos, next time you'll receive a notification when I post a video. Have a great week ahead. Cheers. Bye-bye.